So with the WiSpy Air, it's the first time we got spectrum and packets and everything together, and we're like, can we get more of that data in? Oh, there was one more slide to show. So I think this came up yesterday from NetAlly. A lot of the basic tools are really high level and don't give you enough information. Even like Insider, which is kind of Wi-Fi scanning. It's nice to know the signal strength, but there's so much more information that you're not getting. And so how can we get more of that information in? If you go to packets, something we raised yesterday was like, packet analysis is really deep. It doesn't always tell you what's going on. It can be misinterpreted. But there's so much great information there in the packets. How can we take the packets and maybe give you a more simplified, digestible view? But using the packets, we have all that extra information. And so this is what we've been working on. I'm going to fire up a prototype version of Insider. And none of this is released yet, and probably will crash on me sometime in here. So that's where we're at. OK. It looks like normal Insider, but we have Wi-Fi adapter that we can do packet capture with. We'll plug it in, cross our fingers, and now we have utilization. Sweet. OK. So instead of just using the built-in Wi-Fi scanner ability, we're now also doing packet capture ability across all the channels. And so we can see all of the APs, all the clients, who's actually talking. A lot more information. And so this is all the APs that are actually going on here. The utilization is actually going on that network. So you can see the Plaza Guest to wireless is taking up a lot. If we go in, we can sort of utilization to see what's going on. So there's a couple up here that are being used a lot. Most of them not being used very much.
Could you use more than one adapter?
Yes, we can.
To speed up the process?
Yes, we can use more than one adapter. And so here, let me drill a little bit further. So when you drill down to the BSS level, where we're on a channel, we're sitting there, then the way we have it built right now is we'll use the packet capture for that one channel, and we'll turn back on the scanner to do all the channels. And so we're getting a little bit overview. If we had another adapter plugged in, we could use another adapter to do all the channels.
OK.
And so we're trying to do more of that. So as many adapters as you plug in, we'll try to use them.
So how do you calculate channel utilization there? Is just the QBSS element again? Or?
This channel utilization is also used looking at all the packets and figuring out how much all the packets are taking for each
using the IPA method.
Yeah, I mean, so we're basically looking at the packet, what's the nav time on it, what's the duration set to, how long to say it's going to take, and therefore that's how much time it was taking. Does that make sense? OK, cool. And we're also now down here in the network graph filling it in based on the utilization of that radio. So it's easier to see in the graph who's actually taking all the network time. Make sure I have all the information. Oh. So with all of that, we now also have a client list. And so before you can see the clients, now we can see the clients and who's actually talking, what data rate they're connected at. And this is showing the max data rate that we've seen in the last few seconds. And so you'll see it kind of adjust up and down. One thing that we've also added is, and I thought I filled this in yesterday, so something didn't work right.
Do you see retry rate per client?
I'm not calculating it yet.
OK.
We have all that in there, but it's not going to calculate it as shown yet. So one thing that we also added, lots of times these kinds of tools to show you the vendor of the AP, which is nice, but there's a lot more information that you could know if you knew what model it was. And like you guys were tracking out yesterday, these are Ruckus 710s or 720s. We're not sure because looking at the basics for spatial streams, MCS index 9, 80 megahertz, it's one of these two models. Well, what if we knew the model? And I found a report from DEF CON a couple years ago called I Know What You Are by the Smell of Your Wi-Fi. And they go into looking at all the information elements in the beacon and then building up a little signature. And so using this methodology, you can build a little signature for each beacon. And then you can basically figure out what model it is. And they were using it for mobile devices. And then at the very end, they say, hey, you could use this for AP taxonomy, but they hadn't actually done it yet. And I'm like, oh, well, this is brilliant. We should use this for AP taxonomy. And so what we've done is we've gone in and built that in. And so now we know that all of the APs in here are Ruckus 710s or 720s. And as soon as we get this connected to the cloud and build that out, now we'll be able to identify it is a 710 or it is a 720. We'll know exactly what it is. And that'll make it a lot easier when you're troubleshooting or looking at your environment to know what all these different APs are.
You said connected to that cloud, to the cloud. Is that then to use multiple customers to baseline it?
Right. Because then if we get that same signature from a bunch of different customers and they start filling in the name and most of them say it's a Ruckus 710, well then we'll just put that in the database as that is a Ruckus 710 done. And so it's one nice thing with having a lot of a big customer base is we can collect that information and get it built really nice.
You could do that for the client devices as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and so we have that in for the client devices as well. Clients, it's a little bit harder because you have to get the association. We have 2 minutes. Okay.
So just send a D off. Make them do that.
Yes, we could send a DOF.
No.
Get my phone and turn it off.
Sean wants to know whose cloud you're running Rampart on.
It's in Azure, AWS.
What was the question?
Rampart, what cloud?
AWS, I think.
AWS.
AWS. Gotta say your utilization is pretty spot on. I sit here, run a speed test, and you can watch 36 to 48 darken
Oh, good.
up. And as my speed test ends, it lightens up pretty quick. It's actually really good.
Cool, thank you. I'm glad it worked.
me-
Okay, we have like 2 minutes, so I was gonna show you a couple more
Not everyone's
things.
gonna do it.
One more thing is, yesterday, May, you said, hey, wouldn't it be great if you could catch the association in the roaming? And one thing that, when you said that, like, that's perfect, it's all set up. One thing that we've done is gone in here, if we had multiple adapters and we drill down to the client, we would leave one adapter on the channel the client's on, and then we would look at what the signal strength of the nearest APs are, where it's probably going to roam to, and try to monitor those channels as well, so we can capture the roam event in both sides of the roam event. And then we automatically save a little PCAP. And so now we can open that PCAP. And this is currently saving a few hundred packets before and after the event, so we kind of get the context of what's going on. And so now we have a little PCAP of that roaming event. And right now we have a couple of built-in triggers for roaming events. If you do a neighbor report, if you do a beamforming report, so just a couple of things that are built in. We want to make that more configurable, and so you could drill in and say, oh, this is the kind of thing I want to look for. Or we have it context-based to say, what are we going to look for?
I'm thinking of voice troubleshooting. Let's say you want to troubleshoot VoIP. Could you have like a start button and a stop button? And so you start it before you test your VoIP, and then you stop it, and then you export that session into IPA or and then analyze that. Analyze the packet.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We don't have that yet. That's a great idea. I like it. And the nice thing about this is now these are small PCAPs. They're not 15 minutes long. I now have a PCAP that's like 500K. And I can send those up to the cloud all day long and then be able to open those in an IPA somewhere else. And so this is easier to drop in, leave it somewhere. It collects some things, sends up small PCAPs when events happen that you need, and now you have them in the cloud that you can go and troubleshoot later.